everybody. It is your girl, your diva, and knowledge Lady Mocha, represent Mocha's Cafe de Paris. So I'm always serving you wisdom, knowledge, and spiritual awareness. So, I call this my particular ratchet news segment when I talk about issues that usually happen within the hood. And I would love to definitely give a big shout out to one of my loyal subscribers by the name of 𝐜𝐴𝐚'𝐬. I want to thank you for sending me the link on this particular recipe that I'm going to be discussing today. So big ups to Mr. 𝐜𝐴𝐚'𝐬, who sent me the link, and basically he wanted me to share my opinion, to give my intake. And whenever it comes to my subscribers and y'all hit me up, I try to deliver as much as possible, and I didn't want to delay on it before something else came up. So again, big ups to Mr. Thomas, who sent me the email on this. So as y'all can see, the footage that I have displayed before each and every one of you, a young female climbing out of the dumpster with two dudes who apparently was using her as dumpster juice and banging her in the dumpster. Okay. So it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out what the hell they was doing in that dumpster. um I'm sure they wasn't in there smoking weed. I'm sure they wasn't in there playing Monopoly or any of that. You can tell that they basically was ucking in that dumpster. So looking at the video, I definitely was very disappointed, but truth be told, this occurs very frequently, especially with young black females within the black community who evidently really don't understand the severity of sex. And they're not understanding that the choices they make in their childhood is eventually going to affect them and come back to haunt them in their womanhood. So, nevertheless, here comes this young pigeon brain broad who's allowing these two guys basically to run a train on her in a dumpster. Okay, this is just how less they perceive her, and even more so, this is how less she perceives herself, to allow two dudes to bang her in a dumpster. She didn't even have enough respect to make them pay for a room. They didn't even care about her enough to at least if they was gonna bang her, they should have banged her in a place versus in a dumpster. But basically, when you treat yourself like trash, and when you act like trash, you get treated like trash. And that's basically what happened. So, um, to give my intake on this, I'm not surprised this happens a lot. We're in a generation right now where young black women are very, very promiscuous. Um, Black women, these young black females under the age of, I would say, 24 years old, between the age of 13 through 24. These young women today definitely don't have any respect for themselves. They lack discretion, and it's gotten to a point now to where it has totally infested the black community. And this is where it starts from. This is where the single parent household starts from. It starts from we as black women being promiscuous at a young age. And most of the time, when you're promiscuous at a young age, you're not taking the proper precautions. You're not on birth control. You're not making your partner that you're sexually involved in wear condoms. These young girls, they don't think on that level. They're nowhere thinking about the future. All they're thinking about is at that moment in time getting some wood. That's all they're concerned about. I also seen a video in a case that's similar to this, where I saw a young female was getting banged in an apartment complex. You can tell the apartment that the three guys was taking turns, pretty much, running the train on her. It was an old abandoned building. I don't know if somebody was staying there before and they recently moved out or whatever, but it was an old abandoned apartment, and the only thing that was left in there was a mattress. And these guys were taking turns hitting it on a mattress, on a dirty ass mattress. Ain't been no fitted sheet, ain't been no comforter, nothing. Just a old ass raggedy mattress with rusty damn springs in it. And basically, she was letting these dudes take turns. When one pulled out of her, the next one pulled in her. When he was done and he nutted, he pulled out of her. Then the next one, he pulled in and he nutted. So she had three different dudes nut inside of her. and neither one of those dudes was wearing protection. And I hate to be graphic, but we're all adults here, so if you have any kids in the room, you may want to have them be someplace else. But all of these guys took turns, leaving nut inside of her. And I'm like, do you understand that you just had 3 different fluids into your body? And the bad part is, it's unfortunate that this generation just does not take sexually they don't take sexually transmitted diseases serious at all. This generation just does not fear STDs. They don't fear it. Um, Not only they don't fear it, they're uneducated about it. I don't even think school is even teaching sex education anymore. And hell, even if school was teaching it, most of them, they don't even graduate from school. Most of them drop out before they even can make it to get their diploma. So, that pretty much defeats the purpose. But back to the issue at hand. Um, this young woman, this young female, as you can see, was in the dumpster while dudes was dumping in her, basically making herself a trash deposit, letting these dudes just deposit all type of trash inside of her. And to add insult to injury, contrary to what many may think, because this generation is always giving men a pass, young men a pass. These young men have also disgraced themselves as well. Because my thing is, y'all are both taking turns banging the same chick. Okay? Regardless of who was getting it from the front, who was getting it from the back, who was getting head, whatever sexual positions or sexual escapade they had going in that damn dumpster. The thing is, do these young black men not understand that going raw with all type of females can not only give you STDs, but you can make yourself a father at a young age. You'll be paying child support and you're not even 20 years old yet. You have young men that are 13, 14, 16 paying child support and barely even got a high school diploma or a GED. And a lot of these young people not understanding is that their bodies are still developing. So they're very fertile. These young females, their eggs are very fresh and just ready to be hatched. And these young men are not understanding how powerful their sperm is. It's more than just fluid that's leaking from your body and entering inside another woman's vagina. Your sperm, your cum can destroy you, especially if it enters the body of the wrong woman. You can end up getting a chick knocked up that can make your life a living hell for 18 years. You'll be paying child support to the day you die, especially if you're not keeping up on your payments and you're falling behind on rearage. It can really complicate your life. And it's unfortunate that it's not enough of people out here. It's not enough of black men or black women that are educating their black children. They're not educating their black sons or their black daughters. Um, I know with my daughter, when I found out she was sexually active, because I told her, I made it comfortable for her to come to me and let me know. I said, look, if you're going to do something, you need to let me know. Don't wait till damage is done and then you want to come to me. As a parent, you have to have that open dialogue, else your children are going to fear coming to you and they're going to sneak and do it. And 9 times out of 10, when you sneaking, that's when things become a disaster. That's when things happen, when you got to sneak to do it. And she came to me. She told me, "Hey, Mama, I'm not willing to wait till marriage." Now, in the perfect world, of course, that's what I wanted. Because I know some parents be like, "Well, why would you encourage your child to come to you to think about having sex?" Because in the perfect world, these children are not waiting anymore. They're not waiting till marriage. They're not doing it the right way. of us have not done it the right way. Okay, so you know, you have to be honest with what you were like when you was a young youth. You know, you have to, be realistic with the situation at hand. And not, put yourself into believing that that's never going to be your child. That's never going to happen. I mean, you can send your kids to church all you want. You can put them in all the after school activities all you want. Um, when they get out there and have to deal with peer pressure from their peers, or they're hearing their friends talk about how great sex is, curiosity starts to get the best of you, to where now you feeling left out because all your friends got a sexcapade story they can share, and all you can talk about is your your basketball game, or your recital, or whatever new game you brought for your PS5. You have nothing interesting to share, but all your peers do. So it does take a toll being a teenager. You have to realize we all were teenagers. We all have experienced peer pressure and things of that nature. But the thing is that, as I stated before, these young black women are becoming very promiscuous creatures. Now, keep in mind, I would say probably in the early 90s. That's more my era. That's when I was practically in high school, and just really shooting puberty between age of 13, 14. Um, it just was not this generation. My generation did it as well. I had females in my class. I had female peers that was already becoming mothers. That was already very promiscuous, had a reputation of being a freak, a hoe. I mean, in middle school. So, um, this isn't nothing new, anything under the sun. But ironically, these same females who I went to school with, because keep in mind, I'm in my early 40s now. So a lot of these females that I went to school with, they are also in their early 40s. The majority of them already became grandparents in their 30s. The majority of them, their children, their daughters, their sons followed the same exact footsteps. It's guys I went to school with who became fathers at a young age. Their sons are doing it. It's like generational curse. History keeps repeating itself. And that's the God's honest truth. History has a way of just repeating itself. So sometimes the seed that you plant will keep reproducing itself. If, in other words, as a parent, if you plant that seed of promiscuousness, that seed is going to reinvent and reimplant itself in your offspring, which is your children. So that's why it's very important as a parent, as a black woman, or as a black man, you got a son or your daughter. It's very important that you plant the seed of knowledge in them, to help them, to guide them from making the same mistakes you made, to prevent them from going down that road. It's called being proactive. It is not enough of black parents, and I would definitely say black mothers, because we're the ones, the majority of us are the reasons why, these children are failing. And this is not to get the men off the hook and say that they should be exempt from this generation that's slowly um, you know, fall into that entrapment of failure. But the majority of single black mothers, they are too busy being friends with their kids and not being mothers. Not only that, they're not educating their daughters. Now, back to the issue at hand with this young lady here. My question that comes to mind is, who the hell is the mother? Who is the father? As a black woman who has a black daughter, I understand the severity of making poor choices. And it is very imperative that black women stop being in denial and stop lying to themselves and making themselves believe that their children cannot be bamboozled, that their daughters cannot be manipulated, that their sons cannot be gullible. There's so many black women out here who think that their children cannot do no wrong. I know some personally. You can't tell them nothing about their child. Now, my thing is, I know my daughter, but at the same time, I don't know my daughter when she's not in my presence. And I'm not in denial about that, so you can never say what your child will or won't do. And every parent that ever has done that has had to walk that hall of shame and embarrassment of convincing themselves my son would never do that, my daughter would never do that. So my thing is, this already shows me that either A, this young pigeon-minded female has a mother who didn't teach her a damn thing, or she had a mother that taught her something, but she's hard-headed, she's rebellious, and she has made it in her mind she's okay with being a freak, a whore. Let's face it, every parent ain't a bad parent. You got some parents out here who have taught their children right from wrong, and their children still go astray. And that can happen. You can be the best parent in the world and teach your children everything, and they can still turn around and disappoint you and do some off the wall shit that you never even thought they would do in a million years. So it can happen. I mean, I work in a jail. I've seen parents distraught, never thought their son would murder somebody, never thought their daughter would murder somebody. So it happens. You can't be so overly confident either because you taught your child right from wrong that they'll never fail you, because they can still fail you. They're human beings. But this young lady here definitely doesn't have any morals or respect for herself. And we are in a generation where young women now, they do not value their bodies because they're being overly sexualized through the media, through social media, through these female rappers like Megan the Stallion and Nicki Minaj, Cardi B. Um, and it's I won't say it's 100% their fault, because at the end of the day, they're entertainers and that is how they make their money. It is supposed to be the parents that's supposed to be teaching them. Yeah, that may be what you see, but that don't make it right. But at the same time, there's so much influential, negative influential um influences or whatever because of the masses. The masses has so much control over the things that our children are being taught. So as a parent, it's kind of like you between a rock and a hard place, because you can teach your daughters and sons to carry themselves a certain way, but when they see these stars who they idolize and who everybody else sends to treasure and worship, sometimes they want to have that same type of attention gravitated towards them. So you have a lot of these young black women who see women like Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion getting all these praises because they ass shaking and booty shaking on stage and twerking, and they envy that type of attention. And as bad as it sounds, you probably thinking, why would a young black woman want to envy another young black female, who obviously is disrespecting herself in a sense, even though we know it's for entertainment purposes. Well, when you are under the age of 20, you're not thinking that deep. And that's where you have to have strong parental guidance. They guide you and say, look, that's all for entertainment. Guarantee you, if she was doing that in real life as a regular person, nobody's not going to wife her. Nobody's not going to marry her. That's a freak that you can take home and bang for a night. That's a person for a night, not a lifetime. It's not enough of, like I stated, black parents that are educating their children. So with this young lady here who allowed herself to be disrespected and letting these other young, better males, have their way with her, which is not saying that it's their fault and it's not hers, and I'm not saying it the other way around. All of them were totally out of pocket for how they handled that situation. First of all, it's disrespectful. You in a dumpster where people got to dump their trash. Imagine one morning you get up and you have one of those dumpsters because you're in an apartment complex and you go to empty your trash and you lift up the lid and you see two dudes in there banging a thought. It's disgraceful and it's disrespectful. But again, as I stated, This has become the new norm of the Black community. There was a video going viral in my own city. People was, receiving this video within my area of this female who was also thought letting two different dudes bang her, and you would not believe what they was using when they was banging her. They was not using condoms. Nope, they was not using that. They was using actual plastic bags from the grocery store. And as they was penetrating in and out of her body, you can hear the damn grocery bags ruffling. Now, if that's not disgusting and trifling, I don't know what the hell is. They were using grocery bags and bagging the hell out of her. Now, as a woman, I don't see the pleasure in that, with a man being intimate with me with the damn grocery bag. And see, that's just it. A lot of these young women, they're not understanding there's a difference between being fucked and being made love to. And that's the bad part, is that they don't understand what's really the beauty in being intimate with your partner, because to them it's all about sex. And again, the things, just like this young lady here, she's not understanding the decision she's making right now is going to harm her in her womanhood. A lot of young Black women are making critical decisions in their childhood that's going to affect their womanhood. Becoming a parent at 13 or 14 years old, when you wasn't mentally ready, financially ready, or psychologically ready, that tends to hinder your growth before you even fully go into fruition within your womanhood. Same thing with these young Black men. You know, they're stunting their growth by going around here having unprotected sex with random females. Now you are a father of three, because a young man can get three females pregnant at one time if he's a promiscuous guy and he's not using no protection with any of them, and he's having unprotected sex with these young thoughts who are evidently not going to be on birth control, evidently not going to protect themselves. He can make himself a father of three within 1 year just by raw dogging three different females. And now his growth is stunted because he can't enjoy himself and be a young man. He around here got to work 2, 3 jobs because he got to pay child support. He can't enjoy just being a young man because he got this baby mom over here bitching at him. This baby mom over here trying to make his life miserable. This baby mom over here constantly taking him back to court every other month. It's a lot of young Black men and young Black women that are making they're making adult decisions that they're not ready for. And this is where we have these problems with a lot of these young men. They can't handle the pressure of being a father. They don't mind banging all of these chicks. They don't mind raw dogging these chicks, but they don't want to deal with the aftermath, the damage that can come behind it. When the child support becomes too much, when the baby moms become too much, that's when they want to run from their responsibilities, because again, you didn't allow yourself to become a man to where you can handle dealing with these type of situations. And that's the same thing with these young Black women. A lot of them, you turn on the news, you see they killing their kids. They killing themselves. They cannot handle the pressure of being a mother. Or if they're not hurting themselves or killing their kids, they just leaving their goddamn kids off on everybody. Yeah, the excitement was fun at first when everybody came to the baby shower and everybody bought clothes and shoes, but that shit wears off because that baby is there permanently. Nobody cares after a while. Yeah, you get your attention for the moment. You can be on a spotlight for a moment. But after that, nobody gives a damn about you being a baby mama. It's somebody becoming a goddamn baby mama every day. So when the fun wears off and now shit gets real, this baby is sick, got to go to the hospital. The baby daddy is not helping you, not giving you no funds. Then shit gets real. When you really have to take care of this child and you don't have everything you need. So this situation here is just a prime example why the generation is so screwed up is these babies having babies, these young men sticking their penises in and everywhere, and these young females, like this one in the video clip, she's just letting these guys hit it and quit it all kind of way. So, my overall intake on this video is that this is something that is normalized in the Black community. The Black community is so overly sexualized. We have no respect for sex. We don't have any morals with how we use it, of how we abuse it. And a lot of that starts from the adults. I blame the majority of it, 75% is on the parents. Somebody's not getting any adequate home training. Like I stated earlier, kids can still fly off the handle, but in most cases, in situations like this, 9 times out of 10, it's some sorry ass parents somewhere who don't give a damn. They allowing their children to raise themselves. And when you allow your kids to raise themselves, what end up happening is they end up bringing kids on you for you to raise because you become a grandparent. This is what ends up happening. Now it's that extra pressure of your daughter already failed you, your son already failed you. They failed themselves by not making the best decisions. Now you got another human being you got to worry about because you got a grandson or you got a granddaughter. You don't want them to fall into the footsteps. But then again, I can't say that because sometimes what I'm starting to notice with a lot of Black families, you have like 3, 4, 5 generations that have reproduced that same generational curse. The great grandmama was a hoe, so the grandmama a hoe, not a mama a hoe, and not the mama daughter a hoe. They just keep reproducing that same generational curse, that same generational curse. That seed keeps reproducing itself. Same thing with these young Black men out here. Granddaddy used to be a male Jezebel. Great granddaddy. Now the daddy. Now here comes the son, who's now got another young man that's going to come up. And if somebody ain't got the spiritual discernment to block that curse before it keeps reproducing itself, it's going to keep reproducing itself. It's going to become an ongoing cycle. And I'm just, so fed up with the fact that these young Black women are not understanding their value and their worth. And that either comes from having a mother that's not raising them and teaching them that you all worth something. Don't let these young men out here treat you like you Mississippi garbage. Don't go giving your cookie, sampling it out to any and everybody. Treasure that. Make sure you give that to somebody who loves you, who respects you, who wants you in his future as his wife. These young women are not being taught that. And a lot of it has to do with too many sisters out here, Black women, they're too busy doing themselves instead of being a parent. Make it so bad. These females today, these single mothers or these mothers, they're not teaching their daughters nothing. They're not putting them on to any type of game or anything. These young females today, they're picking up dudes who don't even have enough money to buy a hotel to go smash the man. These young females are picking dudes up in their car. The dudes don't even have to have a car to come and get some. These young females, they will go pick up a dusty just so she can pay for a room or she can put gas in her car to go see him and pick him up. These are things that we as Black women should be discussing with our daughters. That if a dude cannot even pay for a hotel room, you don't need to be giving him something. If he can't even pick you up to take you to a hotel room, he don't need to be getting none. Because if he can't do those, if he can't even do the basics, then you definitely settling, and he's definitely going to treat you like you cheap. And that's basically what these two guys did. They so much didn't have no respect for her, they wouldn't even go rent a little roach motel that's probably what, only $20 a night. They thought just that less of her to smash her in a goddamn dumpster. So can you only imagine this young lady's psyche that she didn't see nothing wrong with that? And you know what? I bet this ain't even the first time they've been smashing her in the goddamn dumpster. That's one of the things that I noticed. I can say I know two, three situations right off the top of my head where these females got caught up in situations becoming a parent at a young age or becoming promiscuous at a young age is because their mamas don't give a damn. A lot of these older black women, they too busy still trying to live their life because what happened was they had them early. So now that they feel like their son or daughter is old enough to keep themselves, they don't feel like they got to be a parent no more. Now let me tell all you ladies and you guys something. There's no age limit to where you can stop being a parent. You could be 30, 40 years old and you still gonna have to be a parent. I'm 40 in my early 40s and I still got to call my mom for advice here and there. So you never stop being a parent. What has happened in a lot of cases, and this is how a young women end up in a situation somewhere somebody gave up on parenting her. They stopped parenting her. And the thing about it is, you know, a lot of these young people catch heat, and they're being told you're disrespectful, that their parents are riding their back tail and saying you're disrespectful, you don't listen. Well, a lot of it has to do with sometimes it's too many parents that are living their life one way, they're preaching one thing, but they're doing something else. You can't preach to your daughter um about her being promiscuous when you got a new uncle over there every week. You picking up guys from the club and you parading it in her face. Now, if you did it back in the day, but you're no longer doing it anymore, now you have the right to say, I did what you did. I was a little freak back in the day too, but guess what? That's why I got all four of y'all and all of y'all got last names. None of y'all got the same daddy because I was doing what I'm noticing you're starting to do. You're sleeping with all kind of random dudes. I don't think you want that. So that's one of the biggest problems is that um you have a lot of parents, and these single mothers, that still are in that mode of doing them. She still want to go to the club. She's still trying to find her man. So she stopped raising her 18-year-old daughter, thinking, okay, she 18, she grown now. Yeah, she 18, but she's not that kind of grown. Not all 18-year-olds have the same mindset. My daughter is 20 and I still got to train her. I still have to teach her. I still have to guide her because she is still emotionally underdeveloped until she really starts going through um, adult experiences and starts going through, her own set of trials and tribulations. And she's able to maintain as a parent. I still have to guide her. And it's too many of y'all have all of these babies and you get tired of raising them. Once they get 16, 17, you ready to fend them. You want them to fend for themselves. Hell, I know some parents some mothers who stop raising their children at 13. She feel like, okay, you old enough to make your own, fry your own egg sandwich. I ain't got to be home with you. I can go to the club. I can go make up for lost times. A lot of older black women have not raised their black children because they're trying to go back and make up for lost time. But once you become a parent, you have lost that privilege. Or you wait till they become fully grown. They're out your house. They well established. Now, if you want to go out there and catch up on something on your time and make up for all the years you had to raise your children are straight. None of them are in prison. Ain't none of them become pregnant at a young age. Then yes, now it's time to go do you. Job well done. But this situations like this with this young lady here, this is why you have so many single mothers who have a household full of grandchildren because their daughters are having all kind of promiscuous, unprotected sex with all kind of random young men, and their mamas. As a mother, you should have enough common sense and strong intuitional motherly skills to know when your child is out there doing something they shouldn't be doing. Study their behavior, study their attitude. Unless you one of them, you so busy trying to hurry and get to the club and get in free before 10 o'clock, get drinks half off. You just don't give a damn what they do. Long as they out your face and they don't interrupt you from trying to get a man. But anyhow, um, yes, this situation was very disgraceful. But again, this happens all the time in the hood. This is nothing new under the sun. She's not the only one that's getting banged in that dumpster. And she's not the first, and unfortunately, she's not going to be the last. another young pigeon brain broad who wants so badly to for a young man to desire her that she feels like the only way she can get his attention is by spreading her hips open. And that is another big problem with young black women in the community. They don't want to be valued. Um, they basically just want to be desired. And being desired, it wears off. But being valued don't wear off. It's too many young black women, they just want to be wanted. They want to be had, but they don't want to be kept. And then these are the same females, okay, that'll turn around and get in their 40s and 50s, 5, 6, 7 churn later, 2, 3, 5 grandkids later. Now they want to look for a husband. She gonna end up being one of them old. She gonna end up being one of them young thoughts that's gonna develop into an older thought, have a household full of children and grandchildren, and she gonna look for a husband because she gonna get tired of being by herself. Eventually, whorish women do get tired of being alone. They may act unbothered for a while, like they're okay with being a whore and they don't mind being a whore and they not looking for no man or anything. But eventually, she gonna want something more. She's gonna be one of those ones. She's gonna look for a captain save them. She's gonna look for somebody, the one to wife her and love her after she done been banging several years, after she done had a history, a whole fast record of banging several dudes in a dumpster. I guarantee you she's gonna end up being one of them ones. She's gonna want to be wifed up. 6, 7 baby daddies and 3 grandchildren later. She's gonna expect to be wifed up. But anyway, y'all. Again, big ups to Mr. Ishmael Thomas for sending me the clip on this. Again, I would like to know everybody's opinion on the situation. Why do y'all think so many young black women, like the one in this clip, keeps allowing themselves to put themselves in situations where they are constantly depreciating themselves in value? Also, do you think young black men are not being taught and trained enough? Because I notice it's a lot of black women who always catch the heat, and I get it. We have to catch the heat, because a lot of us are not holding ourselves accountable to anything. So I understand that, but I look at these young black men and I'm concerned for their safety as well, because these are the young black men who end up over flooding the child support case system because they're going around here raw dogging all type of random females, not understanding that every female, once you enter your penis into a woman with no protection, you basically give her the keys to your life. She basically can make your life miserable, especially if you missing out her up. So anyway, y'all, leave your comment below. I'm interested in hearing what y'all have to say about this. This is your girl, your diva in knowledge, Lady Mocha. Remember, I'm always gonna pour you a cup of truth and break you off with a slice of knowledge. Please, ladies and gentlemen, before you leave, please hit that thumb up button. It's free. It does not cost any money. So please hit up that thumb button. I definitely appreciate it. Likes up, everyone. Y'all have a blessed night. Bye.